Welcome, everybody, to a couple of weeks later than I would have liked, but it is the November Bokksu. And this is a Japanese snack box unboxing. Bokksu. I like to go Bokksu, just pronunciation wise. But this month is Senses Awaken. So the idea, apparently, is that you smell, hear, taste, touch, all the fun stuff. All the five senses: sight, smell, taste, vision, touch, all that fun junk in these snacks. So, I'm curious what these kind of snacks will entail with that. So, have my usual setup of dual pictures whenever possible, but for the first few will probably be single picture variants. But for now, we've got the picture here. We'll get to the box in a few minutes. And first up, we have the thank you card from the founder. And I love these because they get to describe kind of the general gist of a box and then do the shill for the rest of the Bokksu stuff. And fun stuff like that. Let's learn Japanese. We've got shikaku for sight, chokaku for hearing, shokaku for touch, and mikaku for taste. Another cool thing in the boxes tends to be the culture guides in the back of the book. This month's focus is the senses themselves, so they kind of go over the descriptions of all the senses and why they are important. Yay, look at all this food. I'm gonna get the snacking. Mitsu apple black tea. I'm very used to getting green teas and sometimes lattes in these, so getting a black tea is a rare treat. And I definitely notice a better, fuller flavor than usual. Because with the green teas, I have to steep it longer than the instructions say. This one, I actually kind of followed them to a T, about 3 minutes. And the flavor is pretty straightforward for a black tea. The apple doesn't distract from it. What it does add, though, is a very nice aroma. If you take time to smell it a little bit, you get hints of the apple in there. This is a very good tea. Yuzu konjac jelly. I'm not really a jelly or jello person. I'm more of a fan of, say, mochi, that sort of stuff. For what it is, they're small bites, easy enough to eat. I think the flavor profile is good if you're a jello person. It's a very light, fruity, but nothing overpowering. The main issue, again, is the consistency. If you like jello, this could be your thing. If you're like me and you don't, probably won't. Potato maru consomme salted seaweed. These kind of reminded me, look and texture-wise, I don't know if anybody's ever been to Taco John's, the Taco Bell competitor, but, dried-out versions of those, mini tater tot things they sell. And the taste-wise, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I liken it to a kind of a crunchy Cheeto with a little bit of seaweed flavor, a good salt. I was actually kind of dreading this, and then I realized, no, it's not as bad as I thought. So, I kind of like it. Coffee bean chocolate bites. I knew as soon as I saw this, I wanted to get it out of the way early, because I've never been a coffee guy. I will say, the smell hits you right away. The coffee smell hits you as soon as you open the thing. I do like that there are 4 distinct flavors. Of the 4, my favorite was the strawberry. It hid the coffee as best it could. It masked it. The white chocolate would be second because... Actually, no. I would say the milk chocolate would be second. Bitter and white chocolate kind of mix because bitter, the dark chocolate just was too much. And whenever you hit the coffee aftertaste, I was just never into it. If you're into coffee, I would say the darker chocolates would probably be more your thing. But again, I still think the strawberry has something going for it. Kit Kat matcha latte flavor. You kind of would know what this tastes like, looking at it and basing it off of anything. If you've ever eaten a Kit Kat, you kind of know. But for those unaware, It's slightly bitter, slightly grainy because of the tea. The sugar mixes pretty well, and I like it when the sugar mixes over top the grittiness. Not my preferred flavor, though. TD Early Caramelized Bokksu cake. This thing reminded me quite a bit of the coffee bites from earlier. I didn't really get the distinct caramel sensation as much as the breading. A lot of these bread type pastries and cookies and cakes in these boxes tend to do that. So, not my favorite. One Bite Madeleine Cake. So, a little bit of a tea infused cake here. Similar kind of to the sponge cake I had. I didn't like it too much. I don't think the tea added a whole bunch to it, but this reminds me of kind of the financier cakes I've had every so often. If I still had some of the tea, I would have tried it with that, but unfortunately I ran out. So on its own, it was kind of cold, kind of stiff. The tea flavor was there, but it wasn't too overpowering. So it was decent. Hey, look, it's chocolate salty balls. Truffle chocolate cafe milk. No, they're not really all that salty. But this has a less intense coffee flavor than the coffee bean bites that I had earlier. Much better ratio of chocolate. Very sweet, actually, instead of salty. Hooray! Maroyaka-san's rice cracker, European style. I couldn't tell there was actually sugar in this. It was mainly just a soy sauce cracker. So if there's sugar there, it was like fairly inconsistent with all the drenched salt and soy sauce on it. So, Matcha Latte Sandwich Wafer. Can't say I like these more than the Kit Kat versions. Little too breaded, not enough crunch. And it doesn't even have that same feel as an Azuki Crunches, those things that I really like every single time. So this one's a pass. Art Pure Gummy, pear flavor. Pretty intense right at the beginning with the sourness. The actual flavor and sweetness is a decent thing. I think if you're used to sour stuff, it's probably not going to hit anybody, but because I'm not really a sour guy, it did hit me a bit hard at first. Not bad, but again, kind of like the tone of this box so far, nothing spectacular. Awadama Fizzy Candy. This one was quite unique. Hard candy with a kind of a Pop Rocks vibe to it. When you put it in the middle of your tongue, you start getting traces of acidity and just this, sorry for the water in my mouth here, this feel of the popping sensation, the fizz sensation, the fizzy candy, grape soda, orange soda, something like that. And it's a really nice feel in a hard candy, one I've not really had before, so this one's a winner just on uniqueness alone. Mugwort Mochi. So it looks a lot cleaner and brighter on the bag than it looks in real life, but don't let it fool you. It's a decent enough flavor. I can definitely tell it's got a grassy vibe to it. It's not as bitter as matcha, though, so I actually prefer this mugwort to all the matcha stuff I've had. Candied sweet potato, black sesame fries. I have to admit, I don't think the mental disconnect. I don't think I was prepared for the mental disconnect of a sweet French fry stick or sweetened chip or whatever. These look like French fries, but they are sweet. They are very much so because of the sweet potato and the glaze. A little too much so. I was expecting even some salt to mask all the sugar on it. In reality, I was not a fan. Good thing I saved this for last, the Hokkaido salted butter potato chips. I've had these before and I knew I liked them. Just basically reviewing what I've already done. Yeah, these are really nice. Cool, subtle salt. The film of butter is like nice and light. You know it's there. It's kind of sweet butter in a way, but it mixes so well with the subtle salt that it just makes the chips so good without being soggy or too crunchy. It's just kind of a perfect balance. Good way to end kind of a middling, if not disappointing, box. But again, this is the sort of thing that happens. Sometimes I get really good boxes. Sometimes I get like one or two amazing ones. And then, or I get some boxes like this where there's really not a lot of good stuff in here. But that's the beauty of never knowing what's in a box until you get it. So I like paying for these. I've been going at them for almost 4 to 5 years now. These have been such amazing experiences. Again, Bokksu is the one I use. Bokksu, however you pronounce it. Sakura Co. or Tokyo Treat, those snack boxes, if you want to get those, you can get those. I pay about, I want to say 40 per month, but it ends up being a really good experience because I just immerse myself in it. So I'll be at it next month, and see you then.